Oh, man. There are moments that just hit you out of nowhere. Like something you've been ignoring your whole life. Suddenly it's right there in front of your face and you're like, dude, how did I not see this before? That was me with Islam. I mean, look, I'm a curious guy. I talk to everybody, atheists, Christians, Buddhists, shamans, ex-Muslims, you name it. I want to understand how people think, what drives them, what keeps them grounded in a world that's constantly trying to pull you in a million different directions. But when I started diving into Islam, bro, I was not ready for what I found. It started with a conversation. Actually, several of them. Different people, different backgrounds, reverts, scholars, fighters, regular dudes. And the more I listened, the more I realized there's this discipline in Islam that's unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm talking 5 times a day prayer. 5. Like, set times. Every single day. And it's not just some casual whisper to the universe while you sip coffee. No, you stop everything. You stand, you bow, you prostrate, you get your forehead on the ground and submit. You align your body with your soul. Man, that's powerful. And it's not just the act, it's the consistency. Rain or shine, good day or bad. Whether you're pumped or depressed or just not feeling it, you still do it. That kind of ritual, that kind of self-control, dude, that's some next level mindset stuff. Now compare that to the West. We talk about morning routines, right? Cold plunges, meditation, journaling. And yeah, that stuff works. But there's no sacredness to it, no unity, no community-wide alignment of discipline. In Islam, it's built into the entire culture. The call to prayer echoes through the city, and everyone moves. Can you imagine that kind of harmony in LA? Not a chance, bro. And fasting? Man, don't even get me started. Ramadan blew my mind. These folks go without food or water from sunrise to sunset. Water. No sips, no snacks, no excuses. And they do it not for weight loss, not for aesthetics, not for trends, but for God. For spiritual elevation, for self-purification. Now I've fasted before. I've done the intermittent thing. I've gone 24 hours, 48 hours. But there's something different when it's tied to faith. When it's not about you, but about something greater. That changes the game. It takes the suffering and transforms it into strength. And dude, I talk to people who do this every year. They look forward to it. Like they crave that clarity, that reset, that inner stillness that comes from emptying the stomach and filling the soul. That's discipline most people can't even comprehend, and it doesn't stop there. There's a whole lifestyle, man. Halal food, modesty, cleanliness, daily remembrance of death. Like, they remind themselves every day that they're gonna die. That this life is temporary, that they're accountable for how they live it. Now I know that might sound morbid, but think about it. In the West, we push death away. We pretend it won't happen. But in Islam, death is front and center. And weirdly, that gives life more meaning. You're not just living for dopamine hits or weekend parties. You're living with purpose, with alignment. I remember asking this dude, well, why do you pray 5 times a day? Doesn't it get repetitive? And he goes, do you eat 5 times a day? And I was like, yeah. Then why wouldn't I feed my soul just as often? Bro, that hit me right in the chest, but that's just scratching the surface. You know what else really made me stop and think? The idea of ego. In Islam, the ego isn't something to be boosted. It's something to be tamed, controlled, kept in check. And that, my friend, is hard as hell in today's world. Everything is designed to make you feel like you're the center of the universe. Social media, advertising, even self-help culture sometimes, it's all about you. But Islam flips that. It's not about you, it's about your creator. It's about service, humility, gratitude. You lower your gaze, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to resist temptation. You give in charity, not to show off, but because you know it's not really your money to begin with. It all comes back to that bigger perspective. That level of restraint, man, it's rare. And I gotta respect it. And community, let's talk about that for a second. Friday prayer, or Jumu'ah, isn't just a religious obligation. It's a gathering. Everyone shows up. You stand shoulder to shoulder with people from all walks of life. No VIP seats, no ego, just unity. Everyone's equal in the eyes of God. And that's beautiful. I've seen mosques where a millionaire and a janitor are praying side by side, and there's no difference between them. Where else do you see that kind of equality, man? Not in politics, not in Hollywood, maybe in a fight gym. Yeah, but even then, money still plays a role. But in that moment of prayer, all that status crap disappears. It's just you and God. And the more I learned, the more I realized I wasn't shocked by Islam because it was weird. I was shocked because it made sense. Like a deep, ancient kind of sense. The kind we've lost in our fast-paced, distraction-filled lives. So yeah, I'm not Muslim. But I respect the hell out of the discipline, the values, the clarity. And the more I understand it, the more I think we could all learn something from it. You know what else blew my mind? The whole idea of intention. In Islam, intention, niyyah, is everything. You could do the exact same action as someone else, but if your intention is different, then the result, the spiritual weight, it's not the same. That's wild to me. I mean, think about how much of our lives we live on autopilot. We do things for show, for approval, for clout. But in this faith, it's like pause. Ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. That self-check? That's deep. And I started thinking, man, how different would the world be if more people asked themselves that? Before every tweet, every flex, every purchase, every argument, why? Am I doing this? Is this for ego or is this for truth? That's a radical way to live. You'd start living way more consciously. And bro, speaking of consciousness, have you ever read the Quran? I don't mean just quotes on the internet. I mean really sat down and opened it. That book isn't playing. It's not just poetry or stories. It's direct. It's like the universe is speaking to you through a divine megaphone. Like, yo, pay attention. This life you're living, it matters. And here's how not to waste it. The first time I read a passage about the heart being blind, not the eyes, but the heart, man, I had to sit down. Because I knew what that meant. I've seen it. People walking around alive, but completely disconnected from meaning, from empathy, from higher purpose. And this book just calls it out like it is. No sugarcoating. No feel-good fluff. And here's another thing I noticed. It's not obsessed with pleasure. It's obsessed with truth. We live in a culture that tells you the point of life is to have fun, to chase happiness, to stack comfort. But Islam doesn't play that game. It says, nah, life is a test, a journey. You're being shaped, molded. Every hardship, it's building you. Every blessing, it's a responsibility. Man, I had to respect that. Because let's be real, we don't grow from pleasure. We grow from pressure, from discipline, from limits. And this faith, it puts you in a structure that forces growth, spiritually, mentally, even physically. You wake up before sunrise. Pray, Fajr. You control your desires. That's fasting. You give to others even when you're broke. That's zakat. You treat your parents like royalty, even when they drive you nuts. That's honor. Tell me that's not spiritual weight training, bro, and it's not just for show. That's what's wild. You can't fake this stuff. I asked one brother, what happens if you miss a prayer? He didn't say, oh, it's all good. God understands. He looked at me, dead serious, and said, I ask forgiveness. Then I pray it, even if it's late. I never leave it behind. That level of accountability, man, it made me reflect on how many corners I cut in my own routines. How many times I've said, I'll get to it later, but here's a dude who won't even let a spiritual check-in slide. That's respect. And bro, the family structure, it's strong. Like crazy strong. In Islam, your parents, especially your mother, are sacred. Like, there's literally a hadith where the Prophet, peace be upon him, is asked, "Who deserves the most of my good treatment?" And he says, "Your mother." And the guy asks again and again. And 3 times the answer is, "Your mother," then your father. That hit me hard. Because let's be real, how many people today treat their parents like a burden? Like some obligation they gotta deal with once a year on holidays. But here, it's the opposite. They're honored, respected, served, and then there's the cleanliness, man. You know how they wash before prayer? It's called wudu. And it's not just hygiene, it's spiritual preparation. You're literally washing off the world before you connect with God. That's powerful. It's like telling your body and your soul, we're about to step into sacred space now. Let's leave the dirt behind. And it's not just wudu. There's ghusl, a full-body cleanse after intimacy, or before Friday prayer. There's care in how you eat, how you dress, how you speak. Islam doesn't leave you hanging. It gives you guidelines for every part of life. And some people might say, isn't that restrictive? But I'm like, dude, we all live by rules. Even the guy who says, I live by no rules, he's still got habits, routines, values. The difference is, this religion makes you conscious of them. One of the biggest misconceptions I had before learning more was that Islam was harsh or rigid. But the more I studied, the more I saw it's not rigid. It's rooted in wisdom, in legacy, in divine instruction. And bro, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that man was next level. You read about his life and you're like, yo, this wasn't just a religious figure. This was a leader, a statesman, a warrior, a husband, a friend, a teacher. He went through everything. Loss, poverty, betrayal, victory. And still, he was known for his mercy, his patience, his character. He didn't scream when insulted. He didn't seek revenge. He forgave. He gave. He smiled. Even when people threw trash at him, he prayed for them like, man, that's not weakness. That's strength most of us can't even imagine. And you look at his impact, one man, in a desert, 1,400 years ago. No TikTok, no podcasts, no army at first. Just truth, just integrity. And today, 2 billion people are following his example. You don't get that kind of influence from charisma alone. That's divine. Another thing that floored me? The idea of accountability without intermediaries. Like in Islam, it's just you and God. No priests, no confessions, no one in between. You sin, you seek forgiveness directly. You feel grateful, you praise him directly. That's empowering. You don't outsource your spirituality. You own it. You carry it every day, in every decision, in every breath. And that ownership, it's heavy. But it's real. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you humble. Bro, the more I learned, the more I started seeing patterns. Islam isn't just a faith, it's a framework, a lens through which you see everything. Money, relationships, food, time, success, failure. And here's the crazy part. It's all balanced. Like, you're not told to live like a monk. You're allowed to enjoy life. You can have wealth, love, family, business, laughter, but it's all within boundaries. And those boundaries, they protect you. They keep the ego in check. They keep the soul from starving. It's like driving a sports car with lane markers. You can go fast, you can enjoy the ride, but you don't crash into other people. That's what these guidelines are. So yeah, I was shocked by Islam. Not because it was unfamiliar, but because it was so clear, so disciplined, so intentional, so wise. And if more people saw it for what it really is, not the media distortion, not the cultural misunderstandings, but the core, bro, I think they'd be shocked too. You know what else really stopped me in my tracks? Gratitude. I used to think gratitude was just writing down 5 things in a notebook every morning. And don't get me wrong, that's great. I do it. But Islam takes gratitude to a different dimension. It's not just a journal prompt. It's a way of walking through the world. They say if you're breathing, if you can see, if you can speak, if you woke up today, you've already been given more than you could ever repay. That's a mindset shift, because in the West, we're always in what's next mode. Next goal, next paycheck, next hit of dopamine. But Islam slows you down and says, hey, look at what you already have. Thank God for it, right now. And it's not just about saying thanks, it's about living thankful. Like if you're grateful for your health, take care of it. If you're grateful for your time, don't waste it. That kind of accountability changes everything. You stop walking around like the world owes you something. You start showing up like you owe the world something. And man, the greeting, Assalamu alaikum. You say that to every Muslim you meet. It means, peace be upon you. Think about that. You meet a stranger, and the first thing you wish for them is peace. That's not small talk. That's a whole vibe shift. It's like the entire faith is centered around this deep respect for the soul, for your own and for everyone else's. You don't backbite, you don't slander, you don't look down on people. You correct in private. You forgive often. You compete in goodness. It's a system that doesn't just tell you to be a good person, it shows you how to be one, day by day, habit by habit. And then there's Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. Dude, that's something else entirely. Millions of people from every country, every race, every language, dressed in 2 white sheets, no labels, no designer brands, no status symbols. Just raw humanity standing equal before God. You walk the path Abraham walked. You pray where the prophet prayed. You run where Hagar ran, looking for water for her child. And you realize this isn't just ritual. This is legacy. This is connection to the past, to each other, to the divine. When I watched a documentary about it, I was in awe. But then I met people who went, and the way they described it, man, their eyes lit up. It's like their soul got a reboot, like they saw the world different after that. And I thought, how many of us have ever had a moment like that? A moment. That wipes your ego clean. That reminds you how small you are in the universe, but also how seen you are by the creator of it. And yo, let's talk about brothers and sisters in Islam. That concept of ummah, the global Muslim community, it's not just talk, it's real. You could be a total stranger, but if you walk into a mosque anywhere on earth and say, Assalamu alaikum, you're home. People will give you food, shelter, direction, connection. They'll pray for you without even knowing. Your last name. There's a brotherhood there that's built on something deeper than blood. It's not based on race, not status, not even shared opinions. It's based on shared surrender, that you both believe there's no God but God, and that's enough to unite you. And bro, that kind of unity, that kind of spiritual bond, in a world that's so fragmented and divided, that's rare, that's powerful, that's needed. And don't even get me started on modesty. It's not just about what you wear. It's about how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you interact. It's self-respect, dignity, a kind of quiet strength that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. In a culture that says, show more skin to be seen, Islam says, cover yourself to be respected. And that flips the whole game. I've seen women in hijab walking with this unshakable confidence, like they know who they are. Like they're not playing by anyone else's rules but God's. And that's a kind of freedom you can't fake. And man, there's so much more. The emphasis on justice, on honesty, on mercy. The prophet said the strongest person isn't the one who can lift the most weight. It's the one who can control their anger. Let that sink in. We spend so much energy trying to dominate the world outside, but how much energy do we spend trying to master the world inside? That's the real battlefield. That's the jihad al-nafs, the struggle against the ego. And the beauty is, you're not left alone in that battle. Islam gives you tools, prayer, fasting, charity, reflection. It's like spiritual martial arts. It strengthens you from the inside out. So yeah, I was shocked by Islam, but not because it was foreign. I was shocked because it was familiar. Like some part of me already knew these truths, but I'd forgotten them. Or maybe the noise of modern life just drowned them out, and discovering them again, it felt like clarity, like still water after a storm. So if you're listening to this and you've had questions, if you've ever wondered why so many people, smart people, grounded people, humble people, are drawn to Islam, maybe now you know. Maybe it's not about religion versus religion. Maybe it's about alignment, structure, truth. And maybe the thing that shocked me most was how much sense it all made.